What if I told you that one of the most valuable things that you have is also the thing that you protect the least? I think what we don't realize is how sacred that our time is, but yet we treat it as if it's disposable and that there's always more of it. You know, I so often hear people say, God, I just wish that I had a couple more hours in the day. But the reality is that you don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer energy and time links in your life. Welcome back to Hills Homestead Queen. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. It's been a little wild and woolly here in South Australia, and I have coffee in hand. And you know, I'm inviting you in today because I've been doing a little bit of reflection around time and energy and how we spent it. Look, if I'm honest, I think that I could say that I have spent majority of my life just burnt out. And I've seen my sort of health reflect that as well, where I go through these peaks and troughs where I'll be really healthy on top of my game, and then, you know, I've got so much more energy, so I'm doing so much more, and I'm taking on more and more and more and more, and I'm saying yes to everything because I'm pleasing everyone, and I'm doing all the things that I meant to be doing, and then I'll come crashing down. And then I will work my ass off to get better again. I'll get up here, and then I just repeat that cycle over and over and over again. I guess, you know, what I thought is that I was being productive, you know, and I was doing all the things that society told me that I should be doing. But the reality is that, you know, I was just performing, you know, I was just people pleasing. And I think that the moment that really hit home for me, you know, and I talk about a lot, is my mum's diagnosis. And what I saw for her with that is that she'd spent her whole life looking after other people and putting off her own joy. You know, she was always busy, and she was just putting off her own joy to another day, you know, because she was putting other people's needs first. And then when she got her diagnosis, I could see that sort of almost look in her face at this time and all these things. She's, I'll do them later, I'll do that later, I'll do that later. And realizing that she may never get a chance to do these things because she wasn't guaranteed this time anymore that she thought she had. You know, that moment, it really hit me, and it really changed my life and the trajectory of it, because in that moment I started, you know, that self-reflection in my own life, thinking, shit, I just feel like I'm so busy all the time, and I'm busy doing this stuff that doesn't even fucking matter, right? You know, like, it just busy for the sake of being busy, and busy to have more and to do more. But the reality is, when it looks like that, you know, the clock is ticking and that time could be up, all you wish that you had was more time to spend with the people that you love. So for me, that was my come to Jesus moment, right? That was my down on my knees and praying to God to go, shit, I need to change my life. You know, is that realization that time is promised to nobody. You don't know how much that you have, and it is this sacred and this precious commodity that we just give away and we waste day in and day out with energy leaks and time leaks. The world that we live in at the moment is just so fast and so constant, and it is always coming at you if you let it. You know, like, and we talk about this is where this time and these energy leaks come in. It's like being always available all the time. Like, we're online, we're available to anybody at any time of the day or night, you know, and we're available to all this information, and there's just no downtime. It just doesn't stop. Then, not to mention the background noise that's always going on about the mental to-dos and everything that we need to do, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. You know, mixing in with the people pleasing, you know, like, and putting everybody else first and above your own needs. You know, we're there trying to please everybody all of the time, where we're not taking that time for ourselves to live our lives and do what we enjoy and spend the time with the people that we love, because we're just too busy trying to make everyone else happy. And then let's not talk about the distractions. There is so many things in this world that are just designed to distract us and to take and rob us of our time and our attention and our energy. You know, this is with life being so fast paced, the first thing that you want to do when you come home from work is just sit down on the couch and you jump online and maybe you start scrolling, or you pop on a TV show and you just start binge watching. And before you know it, like you're doing it as this mental escape from this world that is so chaotic and busy, that before you know it, 2, 3, 4 hours has gone from doom scrolling, from binge watching television, and it robs you of that time. And that's, in essence, you think about that's 2 hours or 4 hours or however long it is, and then times it over the week that you could be spending with your loved ones. And I think that was a huge thing for me, because that moment when I felt like I may not have one of my loved ones around, all I wish that I had was more time with them. And then I think when I sit here and waste time, doom scrolling and doing all those things, that's that time that I wish for. It's there. I'm just wasting it on other things. Obviously for me, I had something that was like a huge, profound moment in my life to really make me sort of reflect on it. But the feelings were already there. It's just this was, the kick in the ass that I needed to actually really go, hang on, this isn't what I want anymore. So, how did I change that? How did I, start reclaiming my time and my energy back? Well, I started to learn to say no. And, sometimes when you say something like that, people are like, whatever, that's so easy or whatever. But what we forget sometimes is saying no can sometimes be one of the hardest things to do in your life, because we are a society, and we are also a gender who has been taught to say yes. We are yes people. We are taught to be yes people. Say yes, smile, be happy, say yes, and just grin and bear it. We've all heard these sayings before, right? We're conditioned to be yes people. So when you push back, it is the biggest, softest rebellion that you could ever do, of pushing back and actually saying no, because I want to protect my time, my energy, and my peace. So what does saying no actually look like? This is looking at your schedule and looking at where are the biggest energy drainers coming from, and how can I say no to them? What are the things that I'm doing out of obligation? Not because I want to or anything like that, but because I feel like it's something that I have to do. And what are the things that are in my schedule that are about people pleasing, right? To make other people happy, as opposed to making myself happy. They're the things that we're going to start with. They're the things that you start saying no to. Obviously, our situation was a little bit bigger, and we had to go a little grander with saying no. And the first thing that we started saying no to was, for us, it was wrestling. And this is something that we'd been doing since 2009 to 2006, respectively. And it was a huge part of our lives and who we were, but it was the biggest energy taker that we had. Training multiple times a week, running a side business, doing all these things. It just took so much out of us that was the first thing that had to go in order for us to caretake and look after our family. When I started pushing back and saying no, I became so much more intentional about my time and how I'm spending it and who I'm spending it with. And that is such a huge power to take back. And this is then in courses where it led to me slowing down as well. Slowing down and creating time and space for myself. What that allows me to do is it allows me to heal my nervous system, for starters. Because when you are go, 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 that wreaks havoc on your health and your body and just your mind, your mental capacity, the whole lot. And so learning to say no is taking that power back and slowing down. And now I get to be in a position where I slowly get to heal myself and my family. I know I've said it before, but it is also about being intentional. So when I see that our calendar is starting to get really, really full, then that's when I start pushing back and saying, hey, no, sorry, not this week, maybe in a couple of weeks' time. And it's such a powerful thing to do, rather than trying to fit everything in, is taking that back. And then when we do spend that time together, whatever I'm saying no to, then it means that time is then so much more sacred, and I'm present in the moment. I'm not worried about all the other things that I've got to do, because I've made the time and space specifically for this. The reality is I'm no longer available for urgency. I'm no longer available to squeeze something else in. I am no longer available 24/7. No, things have their time and their place, and they get that accordingly. So I'm available for peace. I'm available to slow down. I'm available for my soft life rebellion. So by saying no, do you know what I've reclaimed? I've reclaimed my time. And so now in my time, I have time for joy. I have time to do the things that I love, and I get to rediscover hobbies and try new things. I have time for rest and relaxation and recovery. I gain so much more mental clarity because a lot of the clutter now starts to go away because I'm not too busy all of the time. I feel like myself, and I guess the more power to it, I've got to rediscover who I actually am, not who I am when I'm doing all of these things, but just me as a person. I get to come home to myself. And now I have more space to actually respond rather than having to rush to react all the time. The moment that I started protecting my time was a moment that I started to remember who I was. So in this space, I would like to invite you to have a little reflection about your own life. I want you to ask yourself some of the following questions. Where are you giving your time without consent? And what's one small thing that you could say no to nice and gently this week? And what would your life feel like with more time and space? Take a moment to reflect on these questions and, take a little time this week to have a look at your schedule and start seeing where those energy leaks are, or, pay attention to where you're spending your time mindlessly. So if this spoke to you, I would love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. Better yet, share it with someone who you think might need a little permission slip to slow down. And I thought we would leave us out with a little mantra for the week. So something that you can practice during the week, just to, focus on that time. My time is sacred. My peace is my priority. And I get to choose how I spend both. Now, there's one little thing that I want you to remember. Your joy is your rebellion. Your time is your power. And your soft life starts now. But can you not? My time is sacred.